Hello, everyone, and welcome to Buddha and the Coach. I am Dan Mickle, and I'm glad you could join us this week to look at the lesson and the wisdom of the Buddha. And we're going to look at lesson 32, and the Buddha's wisdom is live every act fully as if it was your last. And I think this powerful quote really reminds us to be present and to really focus on what we are doing. You know, whether it's our life in general or coaching or parenting or just being a member of society. I think too many times we are pulled in a lot of directions and we try to multitask, and that becomes a problem. And obviously this can be a bit of a problem when it comes to coaching. So really, what does all this mean? And at its core, this wisdom from the Buddha emphasizes the mindful presence, right? It's the Buddha is asking us to treat every act as if it was the last thing that we were ever going to do. So we want to put all our attention and our focus into it. For coaches, this is a critical lesson. We're often juggling multiple commitments, right? Whether it's administrative, transportation, budget. And then we have on top of that, keeping the team together and the actual skill and sport that we're teaching. That's a lot of responsibilities, planning practices and mentoring the athletes. All this can take our time. And we try to spread ourselves too thin, or we believe that we can do multiple things at once. And it just doesn't really work that way. If we really want to foster the connections with our team and have the growth of our team, we have to commit fully and mindfully to what we're doing at the moment. So it's a little bit more about time management in the sense of making sure we're blocking things so that we're not being distracted. We're not doing paperwork while we're evaluating a drill, or we're not just having a team scrimmage while you go over and work on budget things or plan food. It's how you block it and do it. And trust me, I get it, and I struggle with this all the time. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, this is so easy and this is what we should do. It takes a lot of work, and it's a constant check, because there's some days that we're just in that flow and we're completely present and mindful of what we're doing in practice. And then there's times where we kind of, drift away from it. So how can we actually incorporate this wisdom and this lesson into the coaching world? And there's three key areas. I mean, and there's a ton we could talk about, but obviously I like to keep these a little bit on the shorter side. So I just want to hit on these three key areas. The first one is to be present during practice. And we already talked about that a little bit. When you're coaching, avoid the multitasking. Instead of dividing your attention between, drills and the administrative stuff that you're working on, dedicate blocks of time in your day to fully observing practice. And then when you can work on that administrative stuff. Maybe there's a certain drill that an assistant can run and you don't really need to be present for that, and you can do your administration there. That way you're not missing out on those really, really big moments. And we want to be engaging and providing feedback, and we can only really do that if we're fully present. How many times have we been distracted doing something else and a player asks for feedback? We're like, oh yeah, that was great. Or, oh, try it a little bit harder. We give some kind of BS answer because we weren't fully paying attention. We were there and we saw it, but we weren't fully engaged. So that's one, be present during practice. Second is teach the athletes to focus on the process. And I know that there's a lot going on with growth mindset and process over outcome and all that. And it sounds like lip service, but it's true. We need to share this philosophy with our team. Encourage them to treat every drill and game as an opportunity for them to not only give their all, regardless of the stakes, but as a chance to grow and become better, even in competition. And we need to create challenges or competitions during practice that reward effort and focus. It shouldn't just be based on skill. You're going to have those kids that struggle at the skill, but are some of your best people and players on the court. So we need to reward them for their effort and their focus. So figure out how you can adjust your drills and your practices to reward that kind of effort and not just the results. Third, we are going to look at model intentional living. And as a coach, this is huge. Our actions set the tone for our team. Show them what it looks like to live every act fully, to be engaged, whether it's starting practice and we have the enthusiasm of what practice is, or we're reflecting back on the day's successes or challenges that we had. Our examples will inspire and lead the team, and we set the tone. If we come in unfocused or down, the team most likely is going to feel that energy and also become unfocused or down. So it's up to us as coaches to set that tone by modeling the intentional living. And I think by applying these three strategies, we're not only teaching our athletes to live fully in the moment, but also creating the environment where their growth, confidence, and performance can thrive. So it's kind of two-pronged. We're helping them, but we're also creating that environment and that culture that we need to. And culture is huge, right? We see culture failing a lot, especially in sports. And I believe that's because we don't talk about it or actually try to make the culture. Because whether we want to or not, that culture is going to be made. That is a topic for a different time, but that does kind of play a part into it. So in closing, let's make it our goal this week to embody this wisdom. Let's challenge it. Let's challenge ourselves to live every act fully as if it was our last. Whether we're coaching, we're learning, or we're just spending time with family members, bring our full attention into it and into that moment. Let's really strive this week to do that, right? I think this small step will help lead to bigger things, but we have to start somewhere. And I think this is the way we do it. So let's make it our goal again this week to embody the wisdom of living every act fully and being present in everything that we do without the distraction. All right. Thank you for joining me for the journey of connecting the Buddha's teachings and coaching. If any of this resonated with you, please share it with someone who you think will benefit from it. Like, subscribe, hit all our social medias. And remember, the best coaching starts with the best version of you. So see you next week for the next lessons of Buddha and the Coach. Take care and remember to live fully.